Hello again, you're watching Sky News. Let's take a closer look at the high-speed rail plans that have been given the go-ahead today. The first phase of the project will take passengers from London to Birmingham at 225 miles an hour. That means a journey time of 49 minutes, saving, it's thought, around half an hour. The line will cost £17 billion to build at today's prices, stretching to £32 billion when it's extended further north. It'll take some 60 years to recover that money from fare revenues. The project is expected to take at least 14 years to complete. So, do we need a high-speed rail line? Well, Emma Antrobus is Transport Policy Manager at the Greater Manchester Chamber of Commerce. She joins us from Wilmslow, as you can see. One of the towns along the route is Great Missenden in Buckinghamshire. From there, we can speak to Steve Rodrick, who is head of the Chilterns Conservation Board. Thank you both for joining us here on Sky News this afternoon. Let's deal with the yes camp. Ladies first to start with. You presumably think this is a good idea. Why?
Absolutely. Good afternoon. We've been campaigning quite hard to have this project go ahead. There is a serious capacity issue on Britain's railways, and particularly on the West Coast Main Line, which is one of the busiest routes in Europe, and mixing different types of traffic, slow trains, fast trains and freight. And so therefore we actually need that capacity in order for the economy to continue to grow.
There you go, Mr. Rodrick. You can't be a Luddite. You can't stand in the way of technology.
Well, we're all in favour of a high-speed rail network, but it doesn't have to be a dedicated new high-speed line. No one's ever explained to us why saving 30 minutes on a journey to Birmingham or Manchester transforms the economy. I think that's a bogus argument. And I think we found as the government has evolved its argument for this railway, it's changed its tune. It's now about capacity. When it began, it was about stopping people from flying. I think that just shows that the principles underpinning this railway are very unsound indeed.
Presumably, Ms. Antrobus, you can accept that a lot of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people along this new proposed route will be badly affected by it. Why can't we follow the line that we have already?
Well, to build along the lines that are already built creates huge amounts of disruption. When they upgraded the West Coast Main Line, it took 10 years and £10 billion to do that for very little additional capacity. I'm not saying that they don't have an argument about not wanting it to go right through areas of outstanding beauty, but essentially to keep Britain moving, we actually need to have more capacity. And to stop people from flying domestically, we need a strong rail network. The roads are at capacity as well, but this is a project that actually can deliver capacity, will allow people to travel, because people are still travelling despite recession. And so therefore it is about keeping the economy moving and keeping people on the move when they want to.
Mr. Rodrick?
Can I just say, there's a lot of bunkum being talked about here about keeping people on the move. The reality is that the peak hour trains out of Euston to the north are only half full. It's no surprise that government tried to suppress these figures. By increasing the length of trains, by doing away with all the first-class carriages, you can more than double the capacity on the West Coast Main Line at relatively low cost, about a tenth of the cost of this railway, and you can do it very quickly. If that capacity is needed, as it appears to be for commuting trains, why wait until 2026 when you can do something now? It seems to me that this is a vanity project for politicians who simply don't accept economic reality. It will neither transform the economies of the north of England, and why would they want to wait until 2033 in any event, nor is it affordable. This is not just £17 billion now to Birmingham or £33 billion to Leeds or Manchester. With finance charges and the inevitable cost overruns and links to Heathrow and so on, we could be looking at a bill of £50 billion. It's quite an extraordinary sum of money for really what some would say bogus economic arguments which have not been backed up by any credible economic case.
Emma, the money could be better spent.
Well, I don't tend to agree. However, what we are talking about is a long-term project. This is about building capacity for the future. Yes, it's not going to be built overnight, but it's not actually the only game in town. We're lobbying very hard from Greater Manchester Chamber of Commerce for the Northern Hub, which is a rail project about relieving congestion congestion problems around the north of England and increasing capacity across the Transpennine route. That will allow high-speed rail to actually work more effectively by improving connectivity in our major cities. It's not the case that it's a vanity project. This is about the future. It's not about today.
Okay, final word from you, sir.
I think we have to look to the future, and the future surely is in high technology, not in a railway. A railway is a Victorian answer, an iron horse, when we should be looking at high-speed broadband. And I agree with the other speaker that you need to improve connectivity in all ways amongst other cities. This seems to me a very London-centric solution, and you're going to end up with Birmingham, Manchester and Leeds being nothing more than suburbs of London. That cannot be in the national interest.
Steve Rodrick, Emma Antrobus, we must leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.